think I hope this bridge is not compromised. As long as the bridge is okay, because someone posted on the Nairobi National Park chat that don't pass this certain bridge.
I'm sure there'll be a sign. So.
Yeah. I think this is alright, man.
It's fine.
Now tell me here which is the dry area. Which is the
Let's go straight. So. Your car is proper, bro. It's strong. There's no stress, bro. You know, I can't. Oh my God.
At least it was enjoyable.
Like, it's so smooth.
Just go right through it.
I think you know your car. My friend, I want to do this.
Let me open. Yo, these tires are fucking serious. What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode. Today, as you guys have just saw from the previous clips, I am testing out my Ironman brand new suspension. You guys know we just got the brand new shocks in this vehicle, my 80 series, and just testing everything out, guys. So we just went to the national park. I want to give you guys an overview and my sort of full review on these shocks, how they're performing, what I think about them, and how they're performing on all the different surfaces. So let's just start off as what you have just saw. Crazy conditions in the national park. Now, I must say, guys, the conditions were very rainy. We have El Nino here in Nairobi, so it's been extremely rainy conditions and tough conditions to go to the park. You know, there's a lot of sort of washed out roads, lots of mud, lots of sticky mud, and actual challenging conditions, and that's why you don't see a lot of vehicles in the park. But my God, guys, I have got to say, I had the best fun that I've had ever in a 4x4 with this 80 series in that park, with this 2-inch lift and these 33-inch mud terrain tires. It just handled like a champ. It just ate up the ruts, ate up the mud. The mud terrain tires are unbelievable in the mud. They just kick that mud off and they keep self-cleaning themselves. I mean, it's just unbelievable how good the vehicle performed. So, you know, I just wanted to sort of go over when I first installed the suspension. You guys have to remember that this is my first time sort of installing aftermarket suspension, and I wasn't sure how the vehicle was supposed to behave. We went with Ironman coils and we went with the Ironman shocks. I went with the comfort spec coils that are going to give me a 2-inch lift, and I went with the foam cell shocks. Now, my reviews on, you know, the reason I went with foam cell shocks is because I know that the foam cell pros are specifically built for vehicles that are carrying a lot of load and, you know, having to take those kind of heavy loads on lots of corrugated roads and those kind of conditions. But I definitely knew that my vehicle doesn't have any sort of extra weight, and so I didn't want to pile on extra weight on my vehicle because it would make it uncomfortable. So as soon as I installed the shocks, guys, what I realized is that I felt they were a bit too stiff. I also contacted my guy at Ironman. First of all, I'd like to thank Ironman 4x4, which is Sairaj here in Nairobi. They did a great job. You know, Ajay at Sairaj, I really appreciate it, man. Helped me out, sorted me out absolutely entirely with the springs and the shocks. Now, I also got to mention, guys, that I'm not like sponsored by these brands, or, you know, I don't have a specific affiliation or anything with these brands. You got to remember that everything I'm saying is an independent review. Everything I'm saying is my genuine opinion. You know, you guys don't get a lot of or any sort of sponsored kind of brand content on this channel. This is my opinion, this is my view, and I do this because I love this. So when we first installed the shocks, I found them a bit rigid, guys. I've got to admit, I found them really rigid. I was almost bouncing in my chair in the car. It was just very stiff. And you know, that was not the case when I had the springs on with the original Toyota shocks. But then I blew out the Toyota shocks and I put in these foam cells. So I rang up Ironman and I let Ajay know that, look, bro, I'm finding it a bit stiff. What do you suggest? The foam cells are strong shocks, you know, they're supposed to take you through proper corrugations and everything. So why don't you go to the national park or something and warm them up a bit, and they should settle. So that's where we begin this story. I went to the national park, guys. I warmed these shocks up, and my God, I had the best time I've ever had in my life. So this car, it just becomes a different creature when you hit the mud. It just leaves every other 4x4 in dust, I've got to say. The confidence, the way it flies on the ruts, the mud, the confidence in the water, the confidence in seeing slippery, wet, you know, soil, mud in front of you, but having the confidence that the 80 will just not stop. You know, even when I would stop in the middle of a rut and I would think, oh shit, now I'm gonna get bogged for sure, just hit the gas, the car moves. I don't have diff locks in this vehicle, guys. This 80 is just too capable. I love it. So to summarize, in the mud, in the ruts, I think these foam cell shocks performed amazing. They dampened most of the corrugations in the national park as well. You know, as soon as I could pick up some speed, dampened those corrugations, and we were able to just travel in absolute comfort. Then you come to the mud, that's where it just comes into its own entirely, and it really handled like a champ. Now we talk about actually being in the car, being in the 80 series on this kind of on these tarmac straight roads, guys. Now this is the only part where, especially when I just installed the shocks, I was finding it a bit rigid, and, you know, it was misbehaving on the tarmac. It was feeling a bit more bouncy than I needed it to be. But I'd definitely say now, after 2 weeks and driving this vehicle through some significant corrugations and going through what we went through in the national park, I believe this suspension setup has now settled, and the vehicle is now happy and performing much better. So on the tarmac, the vehicle has got good on-road manners now. It's not particularly very bad, but I definitely say the 80 series is not known as the hero of on-road conditions. I would not, I own a Land Cruiser Cygnus, I've driven 200 series, I've driven LX570, LX600, so I can give you my opinion on these kind of things, that definitely on the road, don't expect your 80 series to be as smooth as a 200 or a 300 or a 100. But off-road, expect it to blow all those cars out the water. That's just how good this vehicle is made. Just how good this vehicle is made. So the new suspension system, guys, I've got to say, I'm happy. There was a time when I was a bit iffy on the suspension system, but I've got to say now that I am very happy with the system. I believe it's settled, and I believe I can now enjoy my kilometers and sort of, push on with this vehicle, even on the road now. Even in this, you can see right now I'm taking a sharp turning. The body roll is almost zero, guys. The car is a different beast on the road. The car handles entirely different to when I bought it, and I'm quite proud of that. I'm enjoying it. The engine, feels extremely good and responsive with this suspension system, and the vehicle feels rejuvenized. This 80 series now feels rejuvenized. Doesn't feel like it's a 25-year-old vehicle on old legs. It's got fresh legs, and it has got good fresh life in it, ready to compete with the 2020 vehicle. So that's my honest opinion, and a bit of a quicker episode here, guys, but another episode of the Epic80 Build. So I'm gonna continue enjoying this vehicle, guys. The character of it, the way it feels on the road, the way it turns eyes, and the way it's just got a presence like none other. Of course, that's just a 300, isn't it? Yeah, little 300. And the old dog is over here, still purring, still moving, and we're just gonna keep doing that. I love this thing, and it is an 80 series, and you've gotta love it. So as the suspension system is now settled, guys, these kind of ruts that you find in Nairobi where the road is so washed out like this, the Ironman suspension has now settled to a point where the shocks are dealing with these ruts. They're not feeling as stiff and rigid as they were, and it's dealing with it much better to a point where I can move through these ruts without flying all over the place. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think as we grow this channel. You guys know this is just a hobby for me, but if you learned something from here, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy the channel, just hit like, subscribe, maybe hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. It really helps the channel grow, guys. So it's been Masai Gaines, and I'll catch you in the next one.